You can see a whole lot of active clusters all over the place, and even in just that one spot. You can see the larger orbs, those are the clusters, and then there's a whole lot of small ones. They're just flying around loose all over the moon image. Now you can see them all. I can even see them all on this tiny little screen. I'm not going to try and zoom in all the way this time. I'm going to shoot from the distance so that I can get more things in and get a clearer picture of what's going on in that thing, since there's so many of those entities all over in our atmosphere that it's becoming critical. That moon hologram and everything on it is inside of our atmosphere. There's the entities right there. You can see how many of them there are, just like as many as in the air all around the moon hologram. I was taking pictures today, and I will show that they are in the air just the same as in that moon hologram, all over in the air, right here on Earth. The whole thing is right here on Earth. You can see just a lot of huge clusters, and they're all active, and that cluster and clusters like it are the ones producing the light that we see. This is not sunlight reflection from the moon or anything like that. Whoever thinks that is making a mistake. There is no reflection. I'm not using a telescope. This is a 5-inch camera. It's smaller than the palm of my hand. Obviously I don't need a telescope. This thing is so close. It can't be more than a few miles off the ground. I'd say less than 5 miles off the ground. It's not even the same size as the to match up the moon hologram. Look at all those clusters glowing right there. Check that out. Those ones and the ones like it in other areas of the moon hologram are making the light that we see. This is not a reflection from the sun. This is direct light coming from the hologram itself. Look at it light up like a light bulb. You notice that? As soon as I said that, they must hear what I'm saying. They just lit it up like a light bulb. I have to move so I can avoid the glare. And look at all those black masses. Last night they were just covering the moon in the form of clouds, but they're not clouds or anything like that. They're different types of the same entity, just black. And then they have transparent ones, and they have white ones, and they have all kinds of colors these entities can be. And you can clearly see the one at the South Pole there shining real bright, and the one next to it is also an active cluster. So you can get a better look and a closer look so you have an idea. I'll move that over. show you what I'm talking about. You can see the size of the clusters right there. Remember, this is a 5-inch camera. It's not a telescope. And look at the images I'm getting. So that thing is not very high from the ground. You can see that the entire thing is made out of these orbs, and they're living entities. They're not just any old matter. This is living matter. And there are billions of them. Billions. And this has the same texture as a cloud. It's layered in different size orbs. Some are active, some are not active. Usually the clusters, larger clusters, are active, and the others revolve around them counterclockwise. But the whole thing is made out of orbs. I want to just get that top. Just look how bright that is. I just want to basically show that top, that the clusters are all glowing. And you can see them glow. The black spots are hollow, and they're layers of hollowness. And the other side is the dark sky. But they layer it so that it looks like it's a structure. There is no structure there at all. Okay, so those are the active clusters. I'm going to just raise it up a little bit. And there, it's hollow on the inside. All those orbs, they're just moving there in layers to make believe that that's a hole or some kind of a land form, but it's nothing there. And that's all surrounded by active clusters. There's nothing absolutely there, just layers upon layers of orbs. Just like in our atmosphere. Think of this as a cloud, one massive cloud. You can see the orbs right there, moving and everything. They're what makes this whole thing. So those black spots are just holes where you can see the darkness on the other side, because the entire thing is in our atmosphere. There's nothing there. All the orbs there are in free flight, and they're just flying around counterclockwise in circles and maintaining the different layers so that this thing has a real look to it. You can see that the dark masses are increasing there. Okay, they weren't there yesterday, and probably the reason why they're there now is because some of them are not there to make a full hologram. They've gone someplace else. Maybe they're on the ground or flying around in our atmosphere, and so you have all these gaps that yesterday were all filled in. So you can see this thing change from day to day, like clockwork. One day there's a whole lot of them and they fill the whole thing in. The next day you can see there's not enough of them. So what they do is make believe that it's a topographical feature. They're very good in creating illusions and holograms. You can see how many entities are all over the place. And that band around the edges is an electromagnetic field, a force field. And that's what holds the orbs together so that they don't fly off. It holds them together inside that moon hologram image. There's a good look at them just hovering in one spot. Notice the moon image moving back and forth and not just in one direction, and it's shaking. So this is not the moon where the landings were made back in the 60s and 70s, if they were made at all, because there's nothing here to stand on. This is not solid. It has the same texture as a large cloud, and no one can stand on anything there because everything is moving, everything is alive, and there is nothing solid within the whole image. That's what it is. It's an image in the sky, and it's made in the form of a cloud that looks like the moon used to look like. But that entire image is produced by those orbs, which are also providing the light that we see. This is no reflection from sunlight. This entire hologram is inside the Earth atmosphere, and being that we are right now on the dark side and away from the sun, this entire hologram should not be visible. The only reason it's visible is because the orbs are making the light. But there is no sun reflection coming off of this at all, because it's not even reaching this entire part of the planet, where this is in the sky over my head, a couple of kilometers up or a few miles up. But it's definitely not in outer space, and it's definitely not the moon. can clearly see all the orbs, small and large, all over the hologram image. I'll just go in even more to show them. The reason why it's so blurry is because there's so many of them and they move so fast and they're packed in like sardines, so there is no way to get a clear shot unless you back off. Even when you back off, it's hard to tell how many of them there are because they're so closed in together. You can just see billions of them. I hope you can see billions of them, because they'll be coming down to the ground soon, and you're going to be needing to see billions of them, because they may be coming after you. So you're going to have to be able to spot them. And you better start looking at what they look like so you can tell. There's a lot of them on the ground, all kinds. There's just millions of them all over, on the ground, in the air, in water, all kinds of water, oceans, lakes, rivers, reservoirs. They like water. They like trees. They're in all kinds of trees. They're everywhere. They're on people. And everything else alive on this planet. So it's high time people started paying attention to this, because these things are here and they're not going to go away. No matter how much you wish them to go away, they're not going to. And we're going to have to deal with them sooner or later. And it looks like it's going to be soon. Just by the sheer numbers of them, it's going to be soon. You can see the huge orbs there. They're very large. They're hundreds of feet in diameter. They're not just little things. And you can see all different ones: black, white, pink, all kinds of colors. And they're all over. And all those small little things moving, that's more of them. Smaller versions. They can go down to subatomic level size, submicroscopic. And you breathe them in and you don't even see them. You eat them with your food. You swallow them when you drink water. And you don't even realize it. And they're intelligent. These things are intelligent. Look at that. Look at that. Look how many of them there are. You can really see them moving. The whole thing is like that. It's not solid. It's just those things all over the place making that image. Look how many there are. Our entire atmosphere looks just like that all over the earth. Every place is the same. There is no difference whatsoever. You're not any safer wherever you go. It's all the same. And these things are smart enough to find you no matter where you go anyway. So there's no use in trying to run away and hide. There's nowhere to hide. They're small enough and can subdivide to small, tiny bits, smaller than atoms, and they can get into anything. And every one of those tiny little parts is just as smart as a big cluster, because they're all connected and share information. So trying to hide from them is not going to work. There's nowhere to hide. Look at that cluster. I shot one like that today on the side of two different buildings, cluster just like that, and that size too. Right here in Toronto. As you can see, the whole thing is hollow, and that's just outside skin sort of that they made in layers of themselves, and the whole thing is not real. It's all an illusion, an elaborate illusion to fool you thinking that that's the moon. But this is the farthest away from what a moon is as you can get. This is the old-time illusion, and it's fooled just about everyone on this planet. You can see one cluster lighting up after another. As soon as they reach that velocity level where the orbs are spinning around the axis or the nucleus so fast, they create plasma. And being that it's in our atmosphere, it's the air that's turning into plasma. Because that's happening right here on Earth. That's not out in space. That's Toronto down below. And I'm shooting through an open window. Alright, it's gonna do it. I thought it was gonna do a hexahedron, but it didn't. You can see the orbs being brighter and then reducing the light. Look at all of them. Even through the clouds you can see how many there are. There are also clouds behind it. It's not just clouds in front of it. Look at them light up. Just like a flashlight. I'm gonna move the whole thing over and try and you can just see how many are in the atmosphere. Look. That's what's outside the hologram. Just as many outside as inside, even more. This is just one pile. They're all over. And there's a whole lot of them. Just more and more of them are being released into our atmosphere. It's amazing how many. And there's so many of them in the clouds as it is. So I hope you can see clouds behind it, because there are clouds behind it. There are clearly clouds right behind it. It's so bright, it's hard to show that. There are clouds right behind it, all behind it. And that's right in our atmosphere. That's where that is. You can see that the clouds are right behind it. Notice how it gets bigger and smaller? That's not me working the camera. That's the hologram. You see what it's doing? It's powering up so that I can't film it. It'll be so bright I won't be able to get any picture. It's gonna pop into a hexahedron. It's almost there. Just look how bright that is. Just look at how bright that is. It's just increased 10 times more in brightness than it was a minute ago. That's because it powered up just a minute ago. Look how bright it got. Looks like it has its own clouds, but those are just those black entities flying around back and forth from one part of it to another. That's not clouds. So I was taking pictures of it just not too long ago. I took some still pictures of all of this, and they came out pretty good. That's just the way these things are. Yeah, all the stills were accurate. Every one I posted is accurate. That's really the way things are. Whoa, did you see that? That one had a flare-up. Let me see if I can get that up close. Yeah, that one is having a flare-up. Look at the speed that's spinning at. Plasma, plasma. It's like spinning like a top. That's how they make hurricanes and tornadoes on Earth. They spin the air like that around fast and create all kinds of damage. Not good things to keep around your house, that's for sure. Look at how fast that thing is spinning. Counterclockwise too. I have my indicator going off. Time for a battery recharge. So I'm just going to let it run as long as it can. Try and get some clouds behind it. I hope you can see the clouds are behind it, over it and behind it and below it too. It's surrounded by clouds. It's in our atmosphere, and I'm shooting through an open window. This is not through a window, it's through an open window. Okay, there's the clouds right over it. But it keeps getting bright, so I can't, if I leave it in one spot. Notice how it keeps getting bright. It knows I want to catch it with clouds over it, so it keeps getting brighter. Notice it's changing shape and everything. You can see that it's shining so bright it doesn't want to be caught on film with the clouds behind it. But it's not possible for it to avoid the camera, because I can outlast it even if I have to recharge the battery or just hook it up. It'll burn out before this camera will. And I'm sure wasting a lot of its power right now doing this. Yep. Is it a hexahedron? Not. Almost. It must hate me by now. So everything you wanted to know about the moon, but you were always afraid to ask someone. Well, here it is, just for you. Now you can learn everything you need to know about the moon hologram, because this certainly is not the moon. You can learn all about these little orbs. There are trillions upon trillions of them, and our atmosphere and everything else is full of them, and they're